Thank you. Now, if you look at all the players, coaches, and umpires, and for the two most famous words in American sports today, Blue!
ACC Network Extra proud to bring you ACC softball from Raleigh, North Carolina, home to the NC State Wolfpack, who today on St. Patrick's Day try to avoid the sweep against Virginia Tech. Dean Linke along with Marin Angus and the Hokies unloaded some home runs yesterday.
The Hokies got things started early when Emma Strauss took a grand slam out to center field in the top half of the inning. Maddie Banks slapped one out opposite field. Darby Troll joined in with a 2-run shot of her own. Jamie Bailey decided, hey, you know what? I want some too. And she went deep. And then Grace Chavez stepping up in a pinch hit situation and takes the first pitch she sees out to left field.
Well, that was tough for Jennifer Patrick Swift, who last year at St. Francis, they led the nation in home runs. She brings that home run mentality to the Wolfpack along with her husband, and they hope to turn it around today.
The home run mindset, they've kind of lost it, but you know, that all depends on the fields, right? So North Carolina State hoping to find those fields today.
All right, on the mound for NC State is going to be Wallace.
Devin Wallace struggled yesterday. She walked the first 3 batters. She's hoping to get a better start today.
All right, Virginia Tech winning 4-2 on Friday, 12-1 in 5 innings yesterday. And Wallace with her first pitch to Al Velasquez, 1 for 5 in the 2 games. The sophomore hitting .367, left-handed hitting right fielder. There you see the lineup, and in that starting lineup right there, 4 home runs throughout the first 9. But look at Darby Troll on deck hitting .477.
Unreal batting average of .477.
Catching the outside corner for Wallace. Devin Wallace with that 1.83 ERA. She has struck out 84, walked just 26. Out in front of Velasquez, 1-2. Shortstop, freshman. Great backhand over to first base. Phenomenal play for NC State, April Visser, and then Randy Farricker there to complete the out.
April Visser, just a freshman, quarterbacking this infield, and she makes that great play with the backhand and the deep throw from short.
All right, here's the NC State Wolfpack defense. Russ, Rizzi, and Nordberg across the outfield. Morris, Visser, Jones, Farricker across the infield. And the catcher for NC State is Wagner. She won the job in the preseason, and she's pretty much it. She's their only catcher.
And as a freshman, she has to come in every game knowing that she has to do well behind the plate.
0-1 pitch, and catching the outside corner. I'm liking the strike zone of the home plate umpire, Tim Casati, Alex Leap, and Anthony Small at first base and third base. Great to be with Marin Angus from Softball America, the editor. She's all in on softball, as I'm sure you are too, as you're watching this game on Sunday. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm loving the green stirrups for the NC State Wolfpack.
I love it. You know, I don't have much green, so I had to bring it with my shoes.
There you go. I'm definitely pinchable, so I'm going to stay away from you. It's 1-2 here. That looked like it caught the corner. The umpire down at third base, Anthony Small, says no. And Darby Troll, who has been red hot, 3 for 6 on the weekend. She's got 4 home runs, 22 RBI. What a great play by the shortstop, diving for it. Phenomenal play again by Visser.
Visser again flashing some leather, and she comes flying across the infield. I like seeing Visser come out strong this game. You know, she's making up for some of her offense misses with these great defense.
Yeah, Jennifer Patrick Swift talking about the fact that she is a human vacuum cleaner out there. Has been having some vision issues at the plate, but defensively, you see it right there. If it's near her, she's going to get to it.
Yeah, she's done a great job at shortstop when she's in the game, and she's someone that Coach Jennifer Patrick Swift speaks very highly of.
Here's Caitlin Nolan in that 3 spot for Virginia Tech. 1 for 6 over the weekend, and a hit by pitch, which has been a problem for NC State this season.
They have, they are the second best pitching staff in the ACC as far as ERA is concerned, and their walks, they need to limit them. They've had a lot of trouble this weekend.
All right, so a 2-out hit by pitch. Nolan standing at first, and here's Emma Strouth, who had that grand slam yesterday in the first inning. 3 walks and then run it out, and that's a good way to start the game.
I can't think of a better way to start the game for Virginia Tech than how they did it yesterday.
The Hokies come in with an impressive 20-4 record, 4-1 in the ACC. NC State 16-10. Big lead over at first base. And for me, 16-10, knowing what this NC State Wolfpack program has gone through, is pretty impressive. I mean, they almost beat Michigan. They start on the road 3-2, could have been 4-1, played competitive. They have been on an 8-game win streak as well during the season. I mean, you feel like you can see already what Jennifer Patrick Swift has brought to this program.
And we see glimpses of it. You mentioned the Michigan. That same weekend, they beat Arizona, who was ranked in the top 10 at the time. And they started out really hot. It's just a matter of, can they keep it going throughout the season?
Jennifer Patrick Swift calling it one of her best moments as a coach, that win over Arizona. As keep in mind her last 2 years at St. Francis, where they were winning every single one of their conference games, leading the nation in home runs. They went to Tucson 2 years in a row. Arizona knocked them down, but they were able to beat the legendary Mike Kendrea. Of course, 8 World Series titles for Arizona.
He's such a legend.
2-2 pitch fouled away. Beautiful day for softball here, Sunday afternoon. We got the best seat in the house, Marin Angus. Love it.
I love the view here. And, this is probably one of the most beautiful days at the ballpark I've had since I've been in Raleigh.
All right, 2-2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nolan at first base. Fouled away again. What are you seeing so far from Devin Wallace as her best pitch early doors here?
Yeah, I like her control today. I think yesterday she just struggled to find the zone. Every pitch was going all over the place, and today she's reining that rise ball in. Her curveball's working. Feels like a good day.
There's the strikeout. Looking at it, go right by was Emma Strouth, and NC State coming to bat with Sam Russ, Bridget Nordberg, and Logan Morris here in Raleigh.
Fans, if your child would like to run the bases after the game in the middle of the 6th inning, to see a representative at the marketing table for more information. And of course, anytime the Wolfpack hits a home.
Constantly on these Wolfpack batters, it's how she's been getting them to stay in the ballpark all weekend.
All right, she can throw in the mid-60s as Sam Russ, the left-handed hitting left fielder, comes to the plate. Takes a look at a first pitch ball. And there's the batting order. Of course, Bridget Nordberg was red hot, starting to cool down just a little bit. They'd like Nordberg to start to heat up again for NC State. And Russ showing bunt, something I didn't think I'd ever see from a Jennifer Patrick Swift coach team.
Sam Russ is one of those batters where she has the ability to drop a bunt down for a base hit or hit it to the outfield for extra bases.
2-0 pitch.
Everly a little disappointed on that call there.
3-0 though, so Sam Russ, Patrick Swift coaching third base. Chelsea Wilkinson down at first, and Eberly, knowing that Russ was taking all the way, just puts it right down the middle. There's Patrick Swift. So how about that? Jennifer Patrick married Patrick Swift to become Jennifer Patrick Swift. And a opening leadoff walk there for Sam Russ. Russ was 1 for 2 yesterday in that 12-1 loss. And she was 2 for 4 in that 4-2 Hokie win on Friday. All right, so here comes Bridget Nordberg. I saw her some last year for Maryland as the first 5 batters for NC State transfers, which was pretty big as NC State in the transition, making the hire of Jennifer Patrick Swift. Here's a dribbler. Going to be tough for the shortstop to get it over there off first base. And NC State starts off the game with runners at first and second and no outs as Nordberg able to beat it down. I think you got to give her a hit there.
You have to give her a hit there. You know, that's a pitch that Nordberg has been fighting recently, that inside corner pitch, and she's able just to place it kind of in that no man's land between short and third.
So NC State with runners at first and second here as we're pleased to be bringing you ACC softball and ACC Network Extra. So runners at first and second, and the first pitch low to Morris. Morris hitting .293 on the season. The sophomore from Sumter, South Carolina. Russ at second, Nordberg at first. 1-0 pitch. In for a strike.
Morris has been one of the more successful batters against Eberly this weekend for the Wolfpack, as she did go yard in Friday's game.
So Morris, who sometimes bats cleanup as well, batting third today. The transfer from USC Upstate. Sam Russ standing at second, Nordberg at first. Eberly with the 2-1 count, gets the sign, and it catches the corner. Coming into this weekend, Carrie Eberly, she went the distance in her 2 starts against the Yellow Jackets, racking up 14 strikeouts along the way. And as you said, won 2 more this weekend. She's pumped her record up to 12-1 for the Hokies, who are ranked 25. This could be a tailor-made double play. Short over to first, and it is. Runner does advance to third, but a double play turned here by the Hokies.
Morris takes a ball up the middle, and it's something on the ground that the Swifts don't want to happen because of this situation right here. It's that timely hitting where you have runners in scoring position and you just need to get a run across, and she hits right into that double play.
So that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter today, your first baseman, Skylar Johnston, the transfer from Fordham, comes into the game hitting .297 with a couple home runs and 7 RBI. Russ standing at third base. Double play turn, though, by the Hokies as they try to get out of a jam. A little dribbler hustling down to first base, but not in time. So they start off with a walk and an infield hit, but NC State, nothing to show for it. The Hokies coming to bat, top of the second, when we come back here in Raleigh. Missouri coming over from Kennesaw State. They actually played NC State here last year, and boy, what a rocking start for him.
You know, he did a great job at Kennesaw the past 2 seasons, really pushed them into a mid-major spotlight, and I think he was a really good hire by Virginia Tech.
Enjoyed spending some time with him pregame as the Hokies come to bat here, top of the second, zeros through the first. You see Kelsey Bennett from Jefferson Georgia. The freshman, 3 for 6 on the weekend. That'll work as she swings right through that. Bennett's got her average at 415, including 6 home runs and 14 RBI. One pitch, fouled back. I want to say I had it, Marin, but I didn't show much skills there, did I?
It was coming straight for you.
Yeah, the reaction wasn't good.
At least you didn't flinch.
Yeah. I did the alligator arms during a North Carolina baseball game earlier, and I got called out for it, so I got to work on my game. It's 1-2. That one bounced in there. Nice crowd here. You're seeing a lot of green. Happy St. Patrick's Day. The 2-2 pitch. Inside.
I stopped by the Virginia Tech parents earlier. They were handing out green headbands and green boas to everybody as they walked in.
Where's your boa?
I gave it back.
Okay.
I wanted to share.
And tied on Bennett. So a leadoff walk here for the Hokies. That's going to bring up number 2, Jamie Bailey, the first baseman. She had one of the 5 home runs in yesterday's 12-1 win for the Hokies. She comes in hitting .347. She hit her 3rd home run yesterday with 8 RBI. She's got a couple doubles. She's from West Virginia. And as you see, 3 freshmen in the starting lineup for the Virginia Tech Hokies.
You see right there, Wallace is struggling to find her release with her changeup. Her first one was in the dirt, and her second one is way up in the clouds.
Jennifer Patrick Swift calls the game. She looks in for the pitch. Over the plate, but then outside, it's 2-0. Popped in the air. Not exactly great communication out there, but Jones comes over to just rip it away there from Farraker, and an out is an out.
Randy Farraker has been one of those players that she's been able to play wherever they need her to play. Yesterday she started in center field. Today she's back at first. And that's just one of those things where she has to readjust to the infield angle.
Lauren Duff, the DP. Not able to catch up with that one.
That rise ball, Devin Wallace loves it.
Lauren Duff, senior, 1 for 3. She got the start yesterday, and Coach DeMoore, 12-1, 5 innings, they'll take it. Third, over to second, there's one there. Kind of dragging the foot, getting the benefit of the doubt there is Jones, and they get the...
You get the hard ground ball to third, and Morris with a throw over to second.
So the coach is going to challenge it, as he may have an argument here, because it did look like, yeah, perhaps not on second base, so it's going to be safe at second.
Yeah, that ball, Morris, it kind of tailed towards first, causing Jones to come off the base a little bit. In softball, we don't really call the neighborhood play like in Major League Baseball.
Right. Yeah, if they did, it would have been an out, but they don't, so let's take a look at it here.
Runner safe at second. 1 out in the inning.
Yeah, the throw pulled her off of second base there, Marin.
Yeah, I think you can see it clearly.
So now NC State going to talk it over defensively. Patrick Swift wants to talk to the umpires as well, the assistant coach.
Your attention, please. Now running for the Hokies at second base, number 19, Kenzie Johnson.
Talk about a baseball, softball family with Patrick Swift and Jennifer Patrick Swift. They eat it and breathe it. Of course, Jennifer Patrick's father involved in baseball, her brother, her father's father, go way back. Left-handed hitting first baseman running the family. This one will get by the catcher, and runners are going to advance here, still with no outs, as Johnson will move over. Mackenzie Lauder now.
That's one thing with Kelly Wagner to watch for this game. She's been struggling in certain situations with being able to control the ball. A lot of them have just been tipping off the edge of her glove.
So 1-0, runners at second and third, knocked down by Wagner. So Kelly Wagner, the freshman from Archdale, North Carolina, Trinity High School. Didn't even get a bat in the fall, but earned her way to that catcher position as it goes inside. Tough situation here. 3-0, first base is open, but no outs. Mackenzie Lauder hitting 200 on the season, 0 for 2 on the weekend. She does have a good eye. Cross for a strike, it's 3-1. Johnson at third. Duff at second. That's a big out there, the second out of the inning. So now runners at second and third with 2 outs.
It's a huge out, but they don't get a break here because you've got Maddie Banks due up. Looks like maybe a pinch hitter now.
So Coach DeMoore, Maddie Banks, who did go yard yesterday, but so did Chavez. And so with runners at second and third, Virginia Tech going to go to their pinch hitter, Grace Chavez, the freshman from Las Vegas, who on her first pitch launched it over the fence yesterday.
It's so exciting when a play like that happens and you get someone off the bench cold coming in and not even needing to take a look at one pitch, just swinging and then having it land out near the track.
Top of the second, pinch hitter Chavez. First pitch a ball. Chavez hitting .385 on the season, 5 for 13 officially. She'll foul that off. She's got 3 home runs, so 5 of her hits have been dingers. She's walked 3 times, struck out once. She's got 7 RBI on the season. Coach DeMoore going to her early here. Top of the second, runners at second and third with 2 outs. So you saw Johnson at third, Duff at second. Chavez digging in, 2-1, 2-out pitch. Devin Wallace inside. Chavez takes, and it's a ball. Just a little bit inside that time, Marin.
That's a pitch that Wallace kind of needs.
And after that last one, this one is low, so that'll bring back the top of the order. The base is juiced here now.
Top of the order. Right fielder number 9 now, the
So that'll be the right fielder, El Velasquez, coming to the plate. She grounded to Visser her first time up. They're going to get a pinch runner for Chavez, and that'll be Maddie Banks that will re-enter, second baseman. So Chavez earning the walk. There's Coach DeMore looking on as his leadoff hitter, Al Velasquez, digs in, hitting .363 with that one home run. 1 for 6 is Velasquez on the weekend. Velasquez, sophomore from Aurora, Colorado, transfer from Minnesota. And just a little low. Boy, Devin Wallace all over in and around the strike zone, but not totally on it. And the pitching coach, Chelsea Wilkinson, is going to walk out to talk to her pitcher. Patrick Swift, the assistant coach, going to talk to the defense.
Yeah, this is one of those things, I've talked about throughout the game so far. Wallace has been struggling with her control, and she may only be missing by a little bit, but it's still enough to affect her. You don't want to be too frustrated, and you don't want that to feed off into the rest of the infield.
All right, so Chelsea Wilkinson, who was a pretty good player at Georgia, with the visit, talking to Devin Wallace, and the count 2-0, 2 outs, bases loaded, and Wallace, this one hit high in the air, but underneath it is Russ, and damage averted. NC State coming to bat with Farraker, Jones, and Rizzi, bottom of the second, all zeros here on Sunday.
Fans, this is the last call to enter your guests at the marketing table for what time you think the fifth inning stretch will start. It is your time. You might take home a prize pack. You can stay up to date on all of NC State athletic giveaways, promotional days, and more. Just visit GoPack.com/promotions for more information. Again, that's GoPack.com/promotions. 6-7 coming up for your Wolfpack. Bottom of the second.
The second baseman, Natalie Jones, hitting .211 on the season. She does have 3 home runs. NC State did hit a home run on Friday, but they were watching the home runs from the Hokies on Saturday. And pretty simply put, as Jennifer Patrick Swift said, if they're not hitting home runs, it's going to be tough to win games in the ACC.
She's pretty upfront with it, too. When she says it, she says everybody knows. The ballpark knows. The other coaches know. The other players know. Their approach at the plate is, I'm going to try to hit this ball out of the park.
0-2 pitch, just outside. The Wolfpack came into this ACC series, wrapping up a 6-game road swing in Charleston with an 8-2 victory at Charleston Southern. And a strikeout, swinging, down goes Jones.
There's that drop ball again from Eberly, and she places it just inside, and Jones just has no chance. It just falls right off the table.
So that'll bring up Angie Rizzi, who is a delight to watch out in center field. She can get to everything out there defensively. Comes in hitting .179, does have a couple home runs. You got to remember that last year, this NC State team, they only won 23, so they've already won 16-10 on the season. They're 7-7 here at home. Pretty good pitch right there, and on the hands of Rizzi.
Expect Eberly to continue throwing that ball in that spot until somebody proves that they can hit it.
Eberly with that 12-1 record, 61 strikeouts, just 19 walks, a foul ball. Take a look at that defense behind Eberly. Across the outfield left to right is Strouth, Troll, and Velasquez, as you see it from distance. Across the infield, Bennett, Nolan, Banks, and Bailey. It's Lauder catching Eberly. That's the Virginia Tech Hokie defense here. Bottom of the second. Curtis and Jacqueline Dale Softball Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. That's going to fall for a base hit. And NC State with a 2-out single here in the bottom of the second has a runner on.
Rizzi didn't get the start yesterday, and she comes out in her first at-bat with a single up the middle. Good to see that from her.
So with Rizzi standing at first, it's the catcher Kelly Wagner as she'll settle in. Wagner looking to take her first ball out of the yard. She's hitting .218 on the season. Does have one double. She's walked 6 times, struck out 16. Runner at first base with 2 outs. First pitch low. So the 1-0. 2-out pitch to Wagner inside. NC State will host Winthrop Wednesday in a midweek contest right here at Dale Stadium. First pitch is 6 p.m. Down low, and all of a sudden Eberly having a little trouble finding the strike zone.
Rizzi's dancing over there at first base, getting a little bit of a big lead.
.30 pitch right down the middle. Visser, the shortstop, on deck, and then the top of the order looking for their second time through against Eberly, who won on Friday, won on Saturday. Up the middle, stepping into it, easy play for Nolan over to Bailey. At every level, climbing the ladder to D1 at St. Francis, the smallest D1 school to play softball as well, yet going back-to-back years in the NCAA tournament, giving St. Francis their first ever NCAA win for any sport.
Yeah, St. Francis was really good under the direction of the Swifts. They showed the world, like, hey, this stuff works. This philosophy works.
So trying to bring that to NC State. Make no mistake, it's going to take a little time. It doesn't happen overnight. But she does say they kind of have this mantra, why not now? Why not send our seniors out with some success? It's not going to be easy. Only 16 players, including 4 pitchers. As Darby Troll, the center fielder, with that impressive .470 batting average. And you know the deal, Marin. If you've got a winning mentality, no matter what cards you're dealt, you want to think, why not now? Let's try to make the most of our situation.
And that's something that they're trying to train these players' minds to think, right? Because they struggled so much last year that, you know, if you think about winning all the time, it's gonna translate.
So a strikeout there. Devin Wallace dropping that one down to get the strikeout, and a good start here.
Yeah, Devin Wallace really looking sharp today after the struggles early yesterday, and she gets that drop ball just in the dirt.
That's a good pitch.
I'm a huge fan of drop balls.
Especially at 1-2. Keep it out of the strike zone and hope that you can get them to go fishing, and that's exactly what they did, and that doesn't happen that often with Trolls. Nolan will step in. Nolan was hit by a pitch her first time up, hitting .311 on the season. Caitlin Nolan, the shortstop. Nolan gets underneath this one, pops it high in the air, and foul.
Nolan said, hey, all my teammates hit home runs yesterday. Let me go after it.
She does have 2 home runs. She has 7 home runs, rather, on the season, so she's got power. She makes contact. She's only struck out 3 times on the season. That's pretty impressive. And she's now behind in the count, 1-2. You see Virginia Tech also, they buy into this home run mentality. Check that out, 35 home runs through 53 games last year. They got 38 already, including Nolan, who actually has 7. And how about that? I just talked about the fact that she rarely strikes out. Only the 4th time this year that Nolan has struck out, and Wallace has struck out the first 2 here in the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, this whole Virginia Tech lineup doesn't strike out very often, so it's good to see her get 2 in a row here. Is the only person in the lineup today with double-digit strikeouts is Maddie Banks.
So 3 strikeouts for Devin Wallace in this one. She has 87 strikeouts on the season. She has walked 28. Devin Wallace has given up just 2 home runs in the circle. That's a pretty impressive stat as well. This one popped in the air, and it should be 1, 2, 3, and it is. Rizzi is underneath it. NC State with April Visser, the top of the order, coming to bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
I want to say a big congratulations going out to Kelsey. Kelsey was today's St. Patrick's Day trivia winner.
Morris. First pitch is outside from Carrie Eberly. Of course, Carrie Eberly making one of the great lists for Softball America preseason.
Yeah, we put together our preseason top 100 for our Division I softball players, and Eberly was at 89.
Visser got a piece of it, but the second baseman Banks able to catch it before it hit the ground. So 1 up, 1 down. So here we go. Sam Russ, the leadoff hitter. She led off with a walk and was left standing at 3rd base back in the 1st inning. So Sam Russ, sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, Providence Day. As that ball got stuck in the net.
It's a cool trick that's happened a couple times now.
Jennifer Patrick Swift, and talking about Russ, says she sees the ball well, often works her way on to set the table for the big power behind her. As she lays off of that one, she does a good job of swinging at pitches she can handle and letting go the one she cannot. That's what you want in your leadoff hitter, Marin.
Yeah, Sam Russ is that player where the Swifts talked about she is our leadoff hitter. She's been it since the beginning of the season, and they don't ever see that changing. Right
back to the pitcher, and Eberly. Soft little toss over to Bailey, so 2 up, 2 down. As NC State, at the moment, Marin Angus, just not driving any balls deep.
It has to do with that whole, the feels, right? That's the word that Jennifer uses, is that it's the feels. They have to get under the ball. They're hitting a lot of balls in the dirt, which is uncharacteristic of the style of swing that they have.
So here again is Bridget Nordberg. Of course, Nordberg caught the national attention of all the softball aficionados as she was named actually back for the week of February 25th through March 3rd, her and Wallace, as it was Nordberg being named the Louisville Slugger NFCA Division I Co-Player of the Week, and then Wallace tabbed the College Sports Madness ACC Player of the Week as Nordberg was dropping bombs, got off to just an amazing start. 12 home runs for a player who only hit 2 during her time at Maryland.
Yeah, and I had a chance to talk to her about it. She said she noticed when she played against St. Francis when she was at Maryland that she really liked the style of play that the Swifts had put together with the Red Flash and that she wanted to be a part of it.
Little dribbler. Third over to first. Bennett over to Bailey. So 3 up, 3 down through 3 zeros here in Raleigh. Stay with us on ACC Network Extra.
For a 4-leaf clover. If you are the lucky winner, bring the 4-leaf clover to our marketing representative behind the press box. You're going to win a prize. Again, it's a 4-leaf clover under your seat. Foul 6-7 coming up for Virginia Tech, top of the 4th.
ACC softball heating up as we take a look at some scores around the league here, Marin.
Yeah, I like to look at that Notre Dame, Florida State. Notre Dame tied the series at 1-1 yesterday after being run ruled on Friday to set the rubber match up today. And you have Syracuse after getting run ruled by Louisville up 1-0 right now. Then Duke's up, they've up 2-0 in their series down the street against Pitt.
All right, so Virginia Tech will bring up hitters 5, 6, and 7. That's Bennett, Bailey, and Duff. Bennett. The .415 on the season. She's got 6 home runs, 4 doubles, 14 RBI, and she scored 13 runs. Looking at the 1-0 pitch from Wallace, that's fouled away.
Wallace is doing a good job of mixing her location, going in, out, up, down, and keeping these Hokie batters guessing today.
Take a look at that strike. Coming into this series, the Hokies had the 5th best batting average in the nation over a month of action, owning a .353 average to rank 2nd in the ACC. And that 12-1 win yesterday, they had 11 hits and 27 official at-bats. The 2-1 pitch from Wallace, Kelsey Bennett. Bennett was 2 for 3 yesterday. She scored a run. And she watched 5 of her teammates hit home runs. The 2-2 pitch. Rise ball's high, staying off of it is Bennett. NC State leads the all-time series 20-17. Of course, wins 16 and 17 coming for Virginia Tech Friday and Saturday. This one hit pretty deep, back near the wall. The center fielder, Rizzi, it goes off of her glove, already rounding second base, and standing in at third base is Bennett. As Rizzi got over there, the wall was over there as well, and I think it went off the leather.
Rizzi did a good job hustling over to make that play. She's out trying to find the wall at the same time, and she just barely misses making a great play on this. And then she kicks it, allowing Bennett to take third.
So Bennett now standing at third base. Coach DeMoore giving some singles as Jamie Bailey steps in. So Bailey with a home run yesterday, and Bailey went twice the past weekend. She went deep, marking the first home runs of her career. Both were to straightaway center on Sunday in the second and third contest against Georgia Tech, as Virginia Tech has gotten off to a pretty impressive ACC record coming into this one, 4-1 in the conference. Boy, that one she swung at after it was well past her.
Yeah, that's when Wallace's ball has that spin on it, and it's just very deceptive. You know, she can touch 70 sometimes, but it's a very deceiving 70, right? Because when you watch her pitch from up here, it's like, oh, she's probably thrown mid-60s.
Tough one to strike out. Bailey's only struck out twice on the season, and that's going to be a foul ball.
We never even mentioned it was the first hit of the game for the Hokies.
Yeah, that no-hitter was going there for Wallace. Rizzi was able to run it down, but not able to make the catch. And as you said, they did give a hit, rightfully so. It's a tough one to get to. The rise ball there is high, so it's now 2-2. So Virginia Tech with one hit, the Wolfpack with two, but the Hokies with a runner at third and nobody out, looking to strike first here in the top of the fourth. If this stays in fair territory, it does, but not able to make the catch. Coming over was Morris and Wagner, neither one able to make the catch.
That's a tough play over there. You have to be able to find the top of the mat because you can't make the play with your glove actually resting on it. And Morris just looks like, hey, I think she just ran out of room.
Yeah, I think you're right. Good call, Marin. The 1-2 pitch is a ball, so now 2-2. Bailey with runners in scoring positions hitting .333. And as we said, she's only struck out twice. She's only walked 6 times. She's up there for a purpose to make contact. It's 2-2, and this should score a run. Underneath it is Nordberg. Runner going. Nordberg's got a pretty good arm, and that was not a bad throw. In fact, if Wagner's able to somehow catch it off the bounce, the runner was within the glove there, but as it is, it'll be an RBI. Good throw from Nordberg, just a little bit down the line.
That was a great throw, and it started out with the transition, right? Nordberg makes the catch and then unloads, and you see the ball actually bounces off of the runner, and she would have gotten her out if she makes that catch.
So Virginia Tech listed as the number 25 team in the country with the first run of the game. It's 1-0. On the sacrifice fly coming from Bailey. So now the DP, Lauren Duff, 0 for 1. She comes in with those off-speed pitch coming there from Wallace.
That's the changeup, and that's the location that Wallace needs that changeup to hit. I know he called it a ball there, but that was a really pretty pitch.
So Lauren Duff, the DP, does not have a home run on the season. She hits this one high in the air, but playable. Underneath it is Rizzi. And so now 2 outs.
Coming to the plate, Hokie catcher, number 18, Mackenzie Lauder.
So that's going to bring Mackenzie Lauder, the catcher, to the plate. She popped out to Visser her first time up. A really good catch from Visser, if you remember, Marin. Good pitch from Wallace.
Lauder isn't always hitting in the starting lineup. She'll sometimes be the flex position that softball likes to have.
Fouled high in the air and out of play. Number 9 hitter Banks waiting on deck, and then the top of the order. Of course, Banks her first time up. Chavez pinch hit for her and drew a walk. The 2-out 0-2 pitch coming to Mackenzie Lauder. And it'll get through. Visser tried to backhand it, didn't get her body over there, and it'll be a base hit. Second hit of the game here for the Hokies to match NC State's 2 hits.
That was one of those balls hit. It was very similar to one earlier the game where Visser was able to make the backhand stop. There, I think she had time to get in front of it, and she was just relying a little bit too much on that backhand.
Banks stepping into it, swinging through it. So the freshman from Iowa, Maddie Banks. Off-speed pitch and a good one there from Wallace. When Devin Wallace has been able to get out in front of the hitters with that first pitch, she's been nasty on her second and third pitches.
It gives her room to, kind of throw it around the zone instead of forcing her to throw a strike.
You're thinking about NC State in the bottom of the 4th. Logan Morris, Skylar Johnston, Randy Farricker due up for NC State, as they have not scored a run since the second inning yesterday. Another off-speed pitch. Runner way off first. Lauder had a pretty good lead. I thought maybe Wagner might throw it down to first base. First at bat for Maddie Banks. As we told you, she was pinch hit for first time up. Check swing, and she's out. A strikeout for Wallace, her 4th K. The Hokies, though, score 1. They lead at 1-0 with the Wolfpack coming to bat in the bottom of the 4th.
To the bottom of the 4th, score now. Hokies 1, Wolfpack 0. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome to the press box. Her name is Sienna. She's going to be today's Wolfpack announcer of the game. She'll be announcing the Wolfpack lineup at the bottom of the 4th inning. Everybody put your hands together for Sienna.
Welcome back to Dale Softball Stadium. Beautiful Sunday, St. Patrick's Day in Raleigh, North Carolina. Carrie Eberly has given up 2 hits but no runs as NC State coming to bat here with their third baseman, number 10, Logan Morris. First pitch, first baseman bobbles, then gets control, and Bailey able to make the out.
Morris does a good job of making solid contact on that pitch outside, but not enough speed to beat out that bobble.
So Skylar Johnston, the DP, she grounded to the shortstop Nolan her first time up back in the first inning. Inside. Johnston hitting .293. The transfer from Fordham, Jennifer Patrick Swift, telling us that she had seen Johnston play in travel ball prior to her going to Fordham, so she and Patrick knew how well she swung the bat with the Virginia Legends, which is a great travel ball program. Felt like they were getting somebody that already played their style, as you see Patrick Swift down there at third base. Patrick Swift's parents are here. Jennifer Patrick Swift's parents are here. Those 3 beautiful daughters are here as it goes right back up the middle to Eberly, an easy play. They bring a lot of fans with them, just with their family, Jennifer and Patrick.
Right, and yesterday after the game, the girls were out running around on the field afterwards, and I think 2 of them have already started playing softball themselves.
Yeah, they don't get much cuter than the Swift girls. Randy Farricker, the first baseman, 2 outs. So Farricker, Jess Moore has also done some work as the DP, but one of the things that Jennifer Patrick Swift says is she's looking for folks that can run the ball out. I love that expression, by the way. She uses it all the time, and that's the way you describe the home run power that they bring. And not able to get much of that, though, and 3 up, 3 down. Not a whole lot of fire there for NC State. Down 1-0 through 4.
Let's give Sienna another round of applause. What a great job she did. Announcing the line of applause. Thanks, Sienna. Hope you enjoy the rest of the game. All right, Wolfpack Town fans, it's time for our dance contest. We need to know who wants to win a prize. If you want to win a gift card to Harris Theater, we need to see you on your feet. Marching representatives will be taking orders based on how big your moves are. I want to see you. Oh, you got it. Let me see you.
Coming up on Selection Sunday tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's Bracketology with Reese Billis, J. Will Seth, and Dickie V. They'll break down the brackets and have special guests. Sports Center starts us off at 5:15 as Reese and the guys reveal the NCAA men's field of 68 as the teams are announced. Both are on ESPN and the ESPN app. Folks, if you're listening, I'm going to say it real clear. NC State basketball deserves to be in the 68. Put him in there. Get him in there.
I'm still adjusting to this whole ACC conference thing. You know, I moved here from Nashville. I think we're waiting to see if it's Belmont and Lipscomb that maybe have to play each other in a play-in game, or if just one of them gets an at-large bid.
You can make no mistake, Buzz has the Hokies in the NCAA tournament. I think NC State deserves to be in. I did see something earlier today where it said they're right on that bubble. I saw one list that said they're the first out. Not buying that as Virginia Tech comes to the plate here in the top of the 5th. The leadoff hitter, L. Velazquez, 0 for 2 on the day. Still an impressive .358 batting average. So Devin Wallace, just those 2 hits. Rizzy so good at center field. You feel like it was a tough play, but you feel like she's a good enough center fielder where 8 to 10 times she's going to make that catch.
Yeah, that is a really tough play, though, with the ball carrying away from her, trying to be able to find the fence, find her teammate.
Outside pitch from Wallace. The fans here, as we said, it's a nice crowd at the Dale Softball Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to see a good crowd here. And caught by the catcher. NC State will take that. Wagner is there to take down Velazquez.
There's a different feel today with this NC State team. The first 2 games when they got down early, you could kind of just see that they got down on themselves. And today, even though they're down on the scoreboard, they're still playing up, and Wallace is keeping them in this game.
Darby Troll picked up by Visser, and what an arm, Visser. She can do it all over at short. She was a commit to St. Francis, where Jennifer Patrick Swift had such great success. And watch her make this play here, Marin.
Yeah, Visser's one of those players that Coach Patrick Swift said, you know, we got her at St. Francis, and when we got the job at NC State, she came with them. And that is their girl, and she doesn't shy away from that.
I want to thank the fine SIDs, Lizzie Hattrick for NC State, Lance Dosher for Virginia Tech, doing great work. Two-0, 2 out.
Those SIDs don't get enough credit sometimes.
Right? I was a press officer back in my day, so I appreciate good sports information directors. The 2-0, 2-out pitch. This NC State team returning 10 players from last season. But they got 7 newcomers, 4 transfers, 3 freshmen to make up this squad of just 16 players. It's going to take some time, particularly as NC State goes through the buzzsaw of the ACC conference season. Nolan. This one high over the catcher, Wagner. And the count is full.
I like how you said the buzzsaw of the ACC. I don't think the conference gets enough credit sometimes for how good it is, just because they weren't winning until last year when FSU won the national championship.
Nolan 0 for 1. She was hit by a pitch in the first inning, struck out in the third inning. As we told you, that doesn't happen very often. She's got 75 official at-bats and has struck out only 4 times. 7 home runs to go with the 6 doubles. So if she gets a hold of it, she can bring it, and she can bring it deep. 22 RBI on the season, and look at that. She struck out again. Devin Wallace with strikeout number 5. Wolfpack, they need to chop some wood here and get back in this one. They trail 1-0. Softball America editor, Marin Angus, told us Florida State, of course, winning the national championship last year. As you look at the early ACC standings, you see the Hokies at 4-1 in conference play. Tar Heels also 4-1. Florida State 26-3 overall.
Florida State still looking like the team that they were last year. I think they kind of snuck up on some people last year, and they finally caught fire at the right time, and that time being in Oklahoma City at the World Series. And they may have lost yesterday against Notre Dame, but they're back on top right now.
Boy, when you see all those teams up there, Virginia Tech 20-4, and even NC State at 16-10, that's pretty impressive for both these programs, considering they both have brand new coaches.
And you can't forget Clemson adds to this conference next year. Duke is in its second season. I love seeing the competitiveness of this conference and the growth.
It's going to be 6, 7, and 8 hitters for Jennifer Patrick Swift and the Wolfpack here in the bottom of the 5th. Captain Obvious, you can't score, you can't win if you can't score. NC State, they need to get some runs across.
I think if there's someone to start off a rally, we're in the lineup right now. We're in the part of the lineup that can do it.
So NC State, Chanley Garner, the sophomore from Lawsonville, North Carolina, called in to bat for Jones. And she'll sit down, a strikeout for the pinch hitter.
Garner's a player. She played and started most of the games last season, and she's kind of had to transition into that role player this year, coming off the bench in pitch hit situations, maybe a defensive substitution every now and then. So it's like we keep talking about, it's a process with the new coaches and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work.
So here's Angie Rizzi. She's got one of the 2 hits for NC State. And she was hit, so she'll go to first base. So Marin Angus, a couple years ago, I was assigned the Arizona Regional. Arizona was the number 2 seed in the country. And I show up, South Carolina, knew Beverly Smith well. She was such a great player at North Carolina. Knew her during her time in Chapel Hill. New Mexico State, a couple of famous coaches. And they say, all right, let's go check out Jennifer Patrick Swift in St. Francis. I show up to practice out in Arizona, and I'm sitting in the dugout, and I'm not kidding you, all I'm hearing is ping, ping, ping. And then next thing you know, the ball sounding off of a brick wall, because underneath the ping of the center field stands was a brick wall, a little different sound. So you had about 5 of those and then 10 more pings, and all of a sudden you're looking around like, what in the world's going on here? And when you watch St. Francis, their batting practice under the Swifts, that high, massive leg kick, and they were just crushing balls, and it was hard not to just completely fall in love with what they were doing.
And at that time, Jordan Seneca was leading the country with home runs. She was someone who really didn't hit many until the Swifts changed that swing. Like you talked, that big leg kick. They like these big dramatic motions. You got the bat wag. You got, like this Gary Sheffield type swing, right? They keep it all moving. And then by the time they make contact, they have all this momentum going into the ball.
It was incredible. Their practices were high. I mean, runner going and safe at second base is left early, they're going to say. Wow, NC State can't catch a break, as they're going to say Rizzi left early. She was safe on the slide and out at second, though. Let's take a look here. Oh, yeah. NC State, they can't catch a break, though.
That's one of those, you can't leave until the ball is released, but you want to time it to where you can get your first step off the base right before she releases, so that by the time she's releasing, or just maybe like a millisecond before, you're off to second.
So the second out. Unlucky, and you don't see a Jennifer Patrick Swift coach team run a ton anyway. She was going to be safe at second, but left a little bit too early. So now that runner at first with 1 out now becomes no runners with 2 outs, and right back to Eberly, and Virginia Tech able to get out of a mini jam, and through 5, it's 1-0. Virginia Tech on top of NC State.
Secure your tickets today at Wolfpack Softball. Wolfpack.com/buy-tickets. We hope to see you there.
NC State here in Raleigh. Beautiful Sunday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Dean Linke along with Maren Angus, the editor for Softball America, which is right on time. I mean, softball now is blowing up. In some states like Arizona, there's more young girls playing softball than soccer. Who would have thought that would have happened? And softball is just up and coming, a rising sport in this country.
Yeah, we ran a story not too long ago about just how much revenue the sport brings in now. I think a lot of people don't realize that just a couple years ago, softball brought in over $450 million in revenue.
That's some cash.
It would be the top female generating.
This ball hit deep out near the warning track. Underneath it, though, is Rizzi for out number 1. Devin Wallace, I mean, she has been solid, giving up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and that 1 triple that was part of Rizzi running it down and then unfortunately kicking it with her momentum. Other than that, I mean, Wallace has been sharp. And keep in mind, I mean, Nordberg gave it a run to try to throw out the runner at home.
This is the Devin Wallace that NC State needs in order to stay in these games. They can't have the Devin Wallace that made the appearance yesterday.
Inside pitch there to Bennett. And it's Bennett who had that triple off the glove of Rizzi. And she has scored the only run of the game. Comes to the plate with those 6 home runs. Her first triple of the season came in this game. 4 doubles. And in on the hands, she'll foul it away. And she also does not strike out very much. 66 official at-bats, only 4 strikeouts. Walked 12 times, 14 runs, 14 RBI. She is up there to hit the ball.
And just a freshman.
Look at that. I am the jinx on the Virginia Tech batters. Talk about them not striking out, and Devin Wallace, 6 strikeouts.
For a team that doesn't strike out much, she's out there to prove something.
She really is. And here's Jamie Bailey. She's got the only RBI of the game. She hit that pop-up out to Nordberg and was able to score Bennett for the only run of the game. Virginia Tech 20-4 on the season. NC State 16-10. The Hokies winning 4-2 on Friday. They got 3 in the 3rd and 1 in the 7th to match the 1-run NC State scored in the 4th, and NC State came back with one in the 7th, but not enough. And then, of course, the home run parade, tying a career high with 5 home runs in a game, 5 different players, 12-1 yesterday for the Hokies as they moved to 4-1 in the league. Bailey.
The Hokies actually got one first-place vote in the ACC preseason poll. I think a lot of people were just thinking, hey, first-year coach, they're going to finish in the bottom. But you see in the preseason poll, they may be at the bottom, but they've got that one in parentheses while all the other votes went to Florida State.
Yeah, give Pete Tamor a ton of credit. First season, along with Kieran Kumar, Doug Gillis, Matt Gimmer, volunteer assistant coach. Off-speed pitch from Wallace. The count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's going to be Visser, and then the top of the order, and they're going to say no as they take a look down at first base. That was close. So that's going to bring up the DP, Lauren Duff. Hit into a fielder's choice in the 2nd, flew out to Rizzi, so she's 0 for 2, hitting .302 on the season. And Wallace, she has kept that first pitch, whether she has brought it with velocity or off speed, she's kept it in and around the strike zone. Bouncing that one up there.
Wallace tends to get better or get stronger as the game goes on. She gradually gains speed on some of her pitches the deeper into the game that she goes.
There's a strike. Catching the inside corner. Again, NC State, Visser, then the top of the order, including Bridget Nordberg, due up for the Wolfpack in the bottom of the 6th. So after each strike, Wallace has bounced the next pitch up there. So now we're at 2-2 with 2 outs. And Bailey standing at first base after drawing the walk. 3 walks to go with the 6 strikeouts for Devin Wallace. Fouled back. The Hokies have a doubleheader on Tuesday against Binghamton in Blacksburg. And then they've got Lipscomb before they head up to Pitt for 3 against Pitt. Midweek game against Radford, and then welcome Louisville at home. Again, it's low. Meanwhile, NC State, as we told you, they have Winthrop here on Wednesday. And then, yeah, they got to head down to Tallahassee to face the reigning national champs.
That's going to be a tough weekend, but if NC State can get back to where they were that first weekend when they were in Florida playing some of that top competition, I think they'll be able to hang in there.
Yeah, all things considered, new coach, only 16 players, going down to Florida. Number 19, Michigan. They had them on the ropes. In fact, if you ask Jennifer Patrick Swift her most disappointing loss, she'll say it's the Michigan game. And then, of course, her best win came 3 games later, beating number 7 Arizona 4-1, and then falling to number 5 Florida just by 1. It's going to be a ball that bounces foul. Not able to pick it up before it goes foul is Farricker.
That was a smart play on Farricker there. She sees that she's not going to be able to make that catch and that it's going to bounce foul.
Tell you though, if you would have asked Jennifer Patrick Swift and Patrick Swift if they're going to come out of that weekend 3-2 with games against Illinois State, South Florida, Arizona, Florida, and Michigan, I think you take it.
Absolutely, and not to mention the loss to Florida was a walk-off.
Another strikeout as Wallace has been dealing. She's got 7 strikeouts, and it's Visser, then the top of the order coming to bat for NC State. Tonight we'll have the exclusive live announcement of the 64-team NCAA Women's Championship field again this year. We'll break down every team and every matchup in each region. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app with a bonus hour of coverage at 8 on ESPNU. The NCAA Women's Selection Special is presented by Capital One. NC State, nice crowd here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon at Curtis and Jacqueline Dale Stadium. NC State coming to bat here, the bottom of the 6th, no runs on 2 hits. It'll be their number 9 hitter, April Visser, then the top of the order as Carrie Eberly, the winner on Friday and Saturday, remains strong in the circle.
She's doing a great job of keeping the Wolfpack off the scoreboard, off the bases, mixing her pitches up and really using that drop ball to her advantage.
50 pitches now for Eberly, and this is driven out to left field, but right at Strouth. Hit hard by April Visser, but unlucky as Strouth is there.
I think April Visser is starting to find the feels. She's done a good job the last couple games of making solid contact in each of her at-bats.
So that'll bring up Sam Russ. Sam Russ walked in the first, was left standing at third. She grounded back to Eberly in the third, so 0 for 1 on the day, shows bunt. Her batting average at .303.
Russ showing bunt early is now pulled in the third baseman. I think she'll be able to read the defense and decide if she's going to drop down another one or swing away.
Inside, almost hitting the left fielder. Good leadoff hitter. Still some work to do defensively out there in left field, but Jennifer Patrick Swift, her motto is, I want the 9 best hitters in the lineup. We'll figure out the rest after that. And Sam Russ is out there in left field, but she is penciled in as the regular leadoff hitter.
She's someone that Coach Jennifer Patrick Swift talks about is able to set the table early, and because she has that ability to slap and use her speed or swing away.
Since Feb 17 coming into this series, Sam Russ had reached base safely on a hit, walk, or hit by pitch in every game. As that one goes outside. She went 1 for 2 in that 12-1 game, and she went 2 for 4, so that streak is still alive, and she walked in the first, so every single game she's found herself on base, Sam Russ. And she'll earn a walk there, and that'll bring up their number 2 hitter. You talk about feels. It'd be a good time for Bridget Nordberg to get the feels right here.
She started out the season so hot, and she laughs when you asked her whenever you ask her about all the home runs. She's like, I wasn't really a home run hitter before I got here. She's like, I had no idea this was going to happen. I didn't expect it to happen this quickly.
So Nordberg brings those 12 home runs to the plate with 32 RBI. She has walked 14 times, struck out 16. She's got a base hit in this one, over to second for the first. And safe at first is Nordberg, but again, Nordberg not able to get the feels and drive it.
It's that same pitch that's been giving her trouble all weekend. It's that inside corner. And it's simply because she's not getting around quick enough. She's not recognizing early that that ball is going to be inside, and by the time she closes her stance, she's got only the handle to work with.
So that's going to bring up Logan Morris. Morris hit into a double play back in the first and then grounded down to the first baseman, so she's 0 for 2. Her batting average 286. She has gone yard, though, 7 times along with 4 doubles, and she's got 14 RBI. Yeah, just really a beautiful day, though, for some liftoff action for NC State, but they just have not been able to explode on any of these pitches from Eberly.
And I think if you look at the spray chart for NC State this season, a lot of their home runs have been center field or opposite field, which means they're taking balls that are outside, out of the park. They really need to do a better job of taking those inside pitches and turning on them.
There is Jennifer Patrick Swift, the head coach for the NC State Wolfpack. Talked about her incredible path. Of course, pretty good hitter. Look what I got. Second baseman kind of put her glove down there, and it fell right in at NC State. Unlucky. Virginia Tech coming to bat in the top of the 7th with just one lonely run. They lead at 1-0 here in Raleigh.
All season, and then somehow they finally managed to get a few on the board yesterday when they took 2 from Pitt. Now they come back and tied it.
All right, so here come the Hokies trying to add to that 1-0 lead. And the top of the 7th. What a phenomenal pitch right there for NC State. Devin Wallace. Mackenzie Lauder, the catcher. She's got one of just 2 hits against Wallace. Base hit back in the 4th. Lauder in that 8th spot, then Banks, then the top of the order here in the top of the 7th. Devin Wallace, 112 pitches. He's given up just those 2 hits, 7 strikeouts against 3 walks, and that was a strike. Pete Demore in his first season as the top man for the Hokies. Jennifer Patrick Swift in the first season as the top woman for NC State. And there's another strikeout. Count them up. 8 Ks. 8 Ks for Devin Wallace.
8 Ks against a team that coming into this weekend had only struck out 63 times.
She just needs some offensive support, and it's going to have to come in the bottom of the 7th if she can get out of this inning. She got that first out, and now it's Maddie Banks struck out looking in her first official at bat. She was pinch hit for by Chavez. Of course, Chavez with that one pitch pinch hit home run, the 5th of the game yesterday, and that 12-1 win for Virginia Tech. This is why you live in North Carolina. Weather like this today, kind of jacket weather, but the sun out, just perfect day for some ACC softball action.
I'm still getting used to how quickly the weather changes, though. A couple days ago, it was raining.
Just a bit outside. Dean Linke with Marin Angus, editor for Softball America. Dale Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina, home to the NC State Wolfpack. And the new regime, Jennifer Patrick Swift and Devin Wallace. 9 strikeouts for Wallace. So Wallace, her single game record is 10 strikeouts. She did it against Bryant back on March 9th. So Devin Wallace just 1 strikeout away from tying her. And right as I say that, she hits Velasquez on the shoulder.
On first now for the center fielder, number 4, Darby Troll.
So Wallace, coming into the series, had hit 9 batters. Last year she hit 35. In 2017, before joining NC State, she hit 10. Part of the game though, right, Marin?
It is. It is part of the game. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and you put one on.
So this is Darby Troll, the center fielder. She's 0 for 3 on the day. But her average pretty lofty, 456, and it doesn't matter the situation with 2 outs. She's hitting 467 with a runner on. She's hitting 500. She's got a slugging percentage of 735, 5 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs for Darby Troll. This one will get away, and the runner will advance as Velasquez now standing at second base with 2 outs. It's going to cause Wagner to come out and have a talk with Devin Wallace.
That 9th strikeout with the last batter is now the most the Hokies have struck out in a single game all season.
So 3-0 pitch, and Wallace has struck out 2 in this inning, but now has hit a batter and walked a batter. So that's going to cause Chelsea Wilkinson to visit the circle. Patrick Swift going to talk to the defense, and what's going to be the message here from Chelsea Wilkinson?
Well, I think the message here is, Caitlin Nolan has struck out her last 2 at-bats. So she's going to be up there looking to get a big hit, but at the same time, Devin Wallace owns this battle throughout this game. So I think she just needs to settle in and try to get this 3rd out so that her team can try and score some runs.
Meanwhile, Coach Pete DeMore, everything going well for him in his first season. as they're just 3 outs away from pushing their record to 21-4. That's a pretty good start there in Hokie land. Popped in the air. Shortstop calling for it. Good job by Visser. NC State coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Skylar Johnston, Randy Farraker, Natalie Jones. They need some hits. They need some runs. It's 1-0 Virginia Tech.
Run with the Wolfpack all year long and catch all of the conference action on ACCN. Coming to TV, computer, and mobile screens this August. Visit getaccn.com to learn more. Coming up for the Wolfpack on another 7.
Welcome back to Dale Softball Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. Jennifer Patrick Swift hoping that hashtag home run mindset can get going here in the bottom of the 7th. The NC State faithful, Wolfpack Nation trying to make some noise here. And the Rally Caps are out for sure here, Marin, as Carrie Eberly going to try to get 3 wins on the weekend with Skylar Johnston digging in.
Carrie Eberly has done a magnificent job this weekend in the circle.
Johnston, third baseman, steps into it. Bennett pops it over to Bailey, and 1 up, 1 down, and now Virginia Tech 2 outs away from the sweep of the Wolfpack.
You know, this is the time now where the Wolfpack, they really need to make sure they're hitting the pitches that they want to hit, and they're swinging at what is in their home run strike zone. I think that's the term that the Swifts use, is their individualized home run zone.
So here's Randy Farraker, first baseman. Farraker 0 for 2, batting average at .212. I want to thank our crew, Matt Curry, Kyle Bullens, Zach Gerhart, our cameras, Elizabeth Stone, Jeff By, Evan Jones, Stephen Reed, outstanding here at the Dale Softball Stadium. Great crew. Mayor and Angus, our analysts. I'm Dean Linke, NC State, trying to dig in. Just 3 runs so far on the weekend for NC State. Carrie Eberly, just a little bit high to Farraker. Farraker doesn't walk much. She's only walked twice. She's struck out 16 times. She does have 3 home runs. Up the middle, that's going to get through for a base hit. And with 1 out, NC State making some noise here in the bottom of the 7th with the base hit off the leg of Eberly.
Farraker does a good job just taking this ball right back up the middle, and she gets it kind of between Eberly's legs as it ricochets off of her, and you see her kind of limping around right now. But it looks like she's good to go.
So Coach Pete Demore, big-time assistant at Missouri, where they play some pretty good softball. They had all kinds of success, made Several World Series appearances as well. Did great in regional action, and then those 2 years at Kennesaw State where Virginia Tech didn't take them long to find their man and hire him, and obviously off to a great start.
He's only the second coach in program history at Virginia Tech, too. Scott Thomas did a good job getting this team up to one of the prominent programs. At one point, they had Angela Tincher leading the way in the circle. They beat Team USA a long time ago. Tincher shut out Team USA.
Wow. That's impressive. It's impressive. Now NC State, they're going to go to Jessica Moore here. So Moore is going to pinch hit. Moore will step in. She's got 3 home runs, Marin. So the pinch hitter, Jessica Moore, takes a look at a ball. Massive opportunity here for Moore to do something for the NC State Wolfpack. Farricker standing at first with 1 out. The NC State fans making some noise here on St. Patty's Day. Second baseman is there, the bobble out, and safe at first base as hustling down the line for NC State is Jessica Moore, the senior from Northridge, California. But Virginia Tech now 1 out away from winning this.
That was a good job by Moore coming off the bench for another pinch hit opportunity this weekend. It was a hard shot, just the Hokies defense playing in the right spot for that double play.
So Angie Rizzi has one of the 3 hits for NC State. She got a single back in the second, was hit by a pitcher other time up, and she'll take a look at a strike. So Rizzi that was so close to strike 2, really close. Rizzi hit .354 as a freshman before transferring to NC State, then .254. This year the batting average at 193, but she does have a base hit, 1 for 1 on the day today. Moore standing at first base. Big swing and a miss for number 42. Carrie Eberly is now 1 strike away from pushing Virginia Tech to 5-1 in the ACC, 21-4 on the season. The 1-2, 2-out pitch from Eberly to Rizzi, and they'll call it strike 3, catching the corner, and the Hokies have swept NC State.
Carrie Eberly really led the way for Virginia Tech this weekend. And she comes out, she gives up 3 hits, but gets the shutout against a very potent offense.